All right. Well, hello and welcome to Chem 100 at Southwestern College. Um, to those of you who are still popping on the stream, um, I don't know. I don't actually have a special message for you. So this is you've made it. This is a lecture. We'll be having lecture here every Tuesday and Thursday at this time at 10 past 5. Um, and let me, you know, welcome you to the class. So I am so glad you're here. This is going to be an awesome semester. It's going to be a hard semester. For all of us, this may not be our first rodeo, but really it's our second and a half. So a year ago, we were starting a new semester. I was starting a semester where I was still walking into a classroom and teaching, which now seems totally bizarre. Totally bizarre. And about we all know the story. Halfway through last semester, global pandemic happened, knocked all of our classrooms online, and this is how I've been teaching teaching ever since. So let's go ahead and get some introductions done. So my name is Josh. And my last name is Tolopilo. You can call me Josh. You can call me Professor Tolopilo. You can call me really whatever you're comfortable with. I am totally comfortable with that. When I started teaching at community colleges, I was 27, and the age gap between me and the students was a little closer. It's been slowly, year by year, getting wider as will happen. But I don't know. Josh is my default, so you can call me Josh. If you would rather call me Professor Tolopilo, I'm also totally down with that as well. So a little bit about me. I'm an organic chemist by training. That is my jam. I am a Southern Californian born and raised. I went to grad school in New York and I currently reside in NorCal. And to be honest, I like it up here. It's fine. But what weirded me out was when I had a kid. So I've got a 2-year-old, and it hit me the other day. I was like, wait, he's going to grow up like as a NorCal person. And I've always, born and raised in Southern California. And that struck me as weird. So anyways, that's a little bit about me. All right, so let's go ahead and so today for lecture, I'm going to be going through the syllabus. I'm not going to be reading it because you all have a copy or can download one from Canvas. So you have access to it. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but I am going to highlight and emphasize several kind of important course policies, course structure, things that you definitely want to be aware of. And the first of these things that should be front and center on your radar is the syllabus quiz. Okay. Here, hang on. Thanks for the heads up. So apparently my volume's really low. Let me just tweak it a little bit. Is anybody else having trouble hearing me? How's my volume? I was streaming. I did some office hours earlier today, and everything was fine. But as I mentioned, I do have a 2-year-old, so it's possible that that little mayhem machine popped in and messed with my microphone knobs. So, you know, he knows he's not supposed to touch it, but when my back's turned, who knows what he's doing? Okay, cool. Soft volume. Maybe try attempting hitting the YouTube volume as well as the computer volume. Okay, looks like we're good. All right. So first thing we were talking about is the syllabus quiz. Volume spot on. Okay, excellent. The syllabus quiz is the first thing I want to put on all of your radars because it is due tomorrow. It's due February 3rd at 11:59. And it's located, the syllabus quiz is located at the end of the syllabus. It's short. There's a few questions, some about dates, some about course policies, and each question references the portion of the syllabus where you'll find the answer. And then at the end, fill it out, print it out, or just save it as a PDF. You can also fill it out electronically if you prefer, and submit it to Canvas. The reason why you want to handle this ASAP is if you are late, and with turning in the syllabus quiz, you will be dropped. You will be dropped, and your spot will be given to a waitlisted student. I have been answering a ton of emails today and yesterday from students who are on the waitlist, and a lot of students who couldn't even get on the waitlist, who all of whom are very, very eager to have a spot to enroll in this course. And the number of ads I can do is limited, and so the syllabus quiz is here to kind of see who's engaged in the class, who's paying attention to detail. And so you need to fill out the syllabus quiz, submit it as a PDF to Canvas. There's a submission portal for you to use there. If you don't, then your spot will be, you'll be dropped, and your spot will be given to a waitlisted student who already has. Oh, okay, yes. Brianna, great question. Oops. So you only have to submit the syllabus quiz once. In one of the sections, I think it's section 62. I accidentally there are two syllabus quiz submission portals, which happened by accident, and I'm going to be removing one after the assignment closes. As long as you submit it to one of those two portals, you're fine. You don't have to submit it twice. That was kind of a copy-paste error, if you will, during the Canvas course building. So you don't have to worry. If you've submitted it to one of those two portals, you'll receive credit for the assignment. You'll be fine. The second thing that I wanted to mention about the syllabus quiz, or actually, I'll save that till later. Okay, so first order business, first thing on your radar should be getting that submitted. Yeah, no, Carolina, this is not, that's not a test. That's just me being a techno boomer, just a little bit accidentally creating two of a thing and not realizing it. I didn't realize it till I was in the grade book and I saw people had submitted to different ones, and I was like, wait, what? And then, but people had already submitted them, so I'm waiting to delete them till after the assignment closes, because I didn't want to have to delete one of them and then ask people to submit, because that'd be confusing. So that was just my bad. Let's talk about prerequisites. So the prereqs for this class, the prerequisite course, is a course in algebra. There are a couple different courses that Southwestern College offers that satisfy the prerequisites. The being comfortable and confident and competent in the execution of algebraic, problem solving, manipulation, math, all that stuff is critical to your success in this course. Being good at algebra is critical to your success in chemistry. I've been teaching within the California community colleges for the past 7 years, and the number one thing I see with students who struggle algebraically usually struggle in in chemistry. And so if you are shaky at all in your algebraic foundation, you have an uphill battle to fight. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but I'm saying it to put it on your radar that if that is something that you have a hard time doing, you need to start working on that right now. You need to start reviewing, maybe go watch some Khan Academy videos, bust out your old algebra textbook, start working some of the problems. In the syllabus, I outline what each course teaches, the prerequisite courses, and that is the material you're expected to be comfortable with. And and the prerequisites to this class are important enough that that your first exam is 100% algebra. There is a pre-req exam. It's already open. Some of you have already taken it. It is, so this is one thing where the syllabus is incorrect. I originally made the due date for the pre-req exam what I feel is too early, so I bumped the due date back. The pre-req exam is due by the 6th of February at 11:59. Normally, for all of our lecture exams, all lecture exams in this course will take place during our lecture period. So from 5:10 to 6:35. I just should mention, not every lecture exam will be that length of time, but each one will open at the start of lecture. The pre-req exam is the only one that's not like this. The pre-req exam is open now. You can take it whenever. It's designed to be an early warning system for you. The pre-req exam is there if you are comfortable with the algebra that that was presented in the prerequisite courses. Then this exam should be no problem for you. But if you struggle with it, or if your score is subpar, that tells you that you have some review to do. And so the reason why I'm putting it here is to give you that early feedback so you can know day one, are you ready for this class, or do you have some work to do? Do you have your work cut out for you? Okay, Rox, that is an excellent question. So question in the chat is, what happens if we fail the entrance exam? So this pre-req exam is not an entrance exam. So this does not guarantee your spot in the class. This is just a test. It's weighted the same amount of points as every other lecture exam. So I believe that's 50 points. I don't have the syllabus in front of me right at the moment. So it's just worth the same amount of points as a normal exam, but you failing it doesn't mean you're dropped or anything like that. it does not determine your spot in the course. What it does is it tells you what kind of grip do you have on the material that you should know right out of the gate. So yeah, Marcelo, that's my kid's name. Yes, as in that the Pre-Req exam is 100% about math, and there's yeah, total. And the thing is, yeah, like maybe brush up on some algebra if it's been a little while. But yeah, it's worth 50 points, same as all the other lecture exams. The syllabus has specific like topics, things that you'll see on the Pre-Req exam. So that is due on the 6th, which is this Saturday. So you have a few days to do it. So go ahead and hit that up. Don't miss the closing date. Well, getting ahead of myself a little bit, we'll get to the late policy. But in this course, the late policy is if an assignment is late, you get a 0 on it. So there's no extensions, there's no penalties. It's just you turned it in on time or you didn't, and you get a 0. So definitely don't procrastinate that situation. All right, let's talk a little bit about basically there's a whole list of required material in the syllabus. I'm going to focus on the thing that is most critical to your success in this course is access. You want access to YouTube, obviously, you're here, so that's a little redundant. Canvas, Discord, and last and least is Zoom. Yeah, I know. That's when the second I saw your name in the chat, it like stuck out because I'm like, wait, that's my son. It's actually ironically also my dad. My dad's name is Marcelo. I'm Argentine. He was born in Argentina, and we named my kid after him. So I've got 2 Marcelos in my family, and a Marcelo up in the chat. So here's the thing: you need a way. Your success in this course hinges on your access to these 4 platforms. Canvas really needs no introduction. It is going to be our... Well, that's awesome. That is so cool. You also have a dad named Marcelo. That is super dope. Oops. Daisy, awesome. I'm actually getting there in 1 second. So on Canvas, this is where Canvas obviously is hosts the course. Oops. This is where you'll do all your assignments, lab assignments, exams, etc. It's also a form of communication. This is where I'll be posting. You can DM me on Canvas, and that gets a guaranteed response. Canvas DM and email are the 2 guaranteed. Correct. Yeah, totally. Oops. There we go. Okay. So Canvas is vital, vital to our class. YouTube, which you're all here. YouTube is where I will be hosting all of our lectures are hosted on YouTube. YouTube is also what I'll be using as our lab kind of whiteboard. So I will have a stream, live stream going on YouTube during lab. And so when someone asks a question or whatever, I'll be answering it by writing, as you can see in Photoshop on YouTube. So YouTube will be supporting both lecture and lab. Sarah Kate, I will get to that question in just a moment. Discord is the platform that we will be using to kind of oh wait, here we go. So Discord is going to host, basically it's like a giant study hall. This is going to support our lab discussions. You can schedule study groups, meetups, homework help. This is community, collaboration, all of that. Oops. Wait, it's collaboration. All of that's there through Discord. YouTube is awesome for kind of the lecture and kind of streaming. It's a whiteboard experience. It's a very good lecture experience. But it doesn't provide that kind of interaction. And it's a two-way discussion. Like I use YouTube to host office hours, which I'll be talking about a little bit later. Because it's good. It's like you throw a question, I'm like, oh, great question. Let me write out the answer and you can see it. But where YouTube falls short is kind of the discussion in between yourselves and kind of larger discussions that would normally happen in a lab setting, right? Now, Zoom has some capability to do this. You can have a Zoom meeting, you can throw people into breakout rooms and they can, all talk to each other. The problem with a Zoom meeting is it's only live while I'm hosting it, right? And so when I'm not there, it's that it all collapses. The beautiful thing about Discord is it's always on. You can always pop in there. You can pop into a voice channel. You can pop into a text channel. You can get that interaction and support from each other whenever you're active, whenever you're studying. It's not dependent upon me being live. Azaneth, I will get to attendance in just a little bit. Let's see. For labs, do we need a lab notebook? Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm catching up on the chat. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Azaneth. So as far as I'll get to attendance in a little bit. So hold that question. So I've talked a little bit about Canvas, YouTube, Discord. That's like the main thing. You're like, well, then what is Zoom for? Why is this even here at all? And this is on this list for one thing, one thing only. So there are, this is my first semester teaching at this college in particular, And one of the things that the full-time faculty are doing, and they were kind of encouraging everyone, you should try this, give this a try if you've never done it before. And I haven't, so going to run an experiment. We're going to see how this goes. Zoom, we're going to use for live one-on-one oral exams. Which I know just hearing that, like, as a student would make my heart drop. It's like, I have to do an oral exam. And you have to do 2 of them in this class. So part of the lab portion of this course is going to be doing these oral exams. And there's a couple blocks of lab periods that are kind of set off where we won't be doing experiments. And I'll be having individual Zoom meetings with everyone during the lab time, presenting you with problems that you'll then have to work and solve live. And so that's what I'm going to use Zoom for, and I will send you a Zoom link just for you. Or I'm not sure, actually. I don't know if I'm going to do it like, you know what? I'm probably going to do a waiting room situation rather than a bunch of individual meetings. Anyways, it'll just be you and I in Zoom, and I'll give you a live problem, a live question to ask, and then you'll need to solve it, and there'll be more about that in a little bit. But you need to be able to access these platforms to succeed in this course, because this is how we're running it, how I'm running it. I'm not more than one entity. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, let's see, sorry, I'm just looking. Daisy, great question. Is this class recorded just like Zoom class? And yes. So every lecture is available to watch and rewatch. At your convenience. Whoa. Let's see if I can spell convenience. Convenience. Yeah, so you can totally watch and rewatch every lecture in this course. In addition, so for those of you who like to get ahead, something that you might want to be aware of. Last summer, I taught a class called Chem 305 at Folsom Lake College. I taught this class online, and it's a very similar class to ours. All the basic stuff is there. The order might be a little different, but for those of you who like to get ahead in a class, all of these videos are still on the YouTube channel. They're actually under a playlist called Chem 305. So if you kind of want to like venture ahead, you can see in the syllabus the topics that we're going to be covering. You can watch those streams that I did when I was teaching Chem 305 if you want to get ahead of material. The lectures will actually be very similar because I was doing this. I was teaching online using YouTube, using Photoshop. So anyways, that's a resource that's available to you if you want to study ahead. But you can also rewatch all of these things. I'll be saving these all under our own channel playlist, including the lab streams as well. The lab streams will be saved. So you can watch all of them. Convenient. Okay. Okay. Convenience. Alrighty. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the fact that this course is Synchronous. All right, this is a synchronous course. All right, now there are two types of courses, right? There's synchronous and asynchronous. And a synchronous course means that you are required to be available live for each class period. All right, this is a synchronous course, and you are required to be available to be live, both during lecture and during lab. Now, you're only required to be live during your section's lab period. So if you're in the Chem 160 section, that's Tuesday lab. Chem 162, that's Thursday's lab. So that's that. And so this is a synchronous class. Now here's just how here's how I'm running this synchronous class. So I do not take attendance. All right, I do not take attendance, but this is a significant but. Oops. There are several assignments. There are several assignments only available during class time. All right, there are several assignments only available during class time, and those assignments are lecture exams, the lab oral exams, in-lab assignments. We'll talk a little bit more about those in a moment. And the final exam. All right, so during like day in, day out, like I'm not going to take attendance. You don't have to leave a comment in the chat or whatever so that I'm not like going through and counting them. But these 4 types of assignments are only available during our normal class time. All right, and the things that you need to know is these assignments cannot be rescheduled. You can't complete the in-lab assignments during another lab period. It's got to be during your lab period. And if you have scheduling conflicts, it's up to you to solve those scheduling conflicts because these assignments do not get rescheduled. They do not get rearranged. And that's because this is a synchronous class. Because it's a synchronous class, you've made the commitment to be here during that time. And so if that doesn't work, or if you signed up for this class thinking that you could do it whenever, then you need to find a class that fits with your schedule as a result. And something that you should know is all dates for these assignments are in the syllabus. All right. Okay, Rox, great question. Do we need a fancy scientific calculator for this course? I would definitely recommend a scientific calculator. You definitely want something that can handle exponents, that can handle powers of 10. So, you know, above and beyond your standard like phone calculator. That being said, fancy doesn't have to be expensive. As far as calculators go, I like there's one that I like. I believe it's like the TI. I think it's 34X. It's a great calculator. I think it's like $12 to $15. So it doesn't have to be an expensive calculator. You do want it to be able to do powers of 10, exponents. There's even going to be some logarithms. So you definitely want a scientific calculator. But you can even find these free online. Like, I've never done this before, but I'm going to Google scientific calculator. Dude, check it out. If you Google, I've never done this before, but if you Google scientific calculator, it pops up a free software one that you can totally use in this class because all your exams are online. Open a browser window, have that scientific calculator there, you're good to go. The first hit is a free software one. Which is pretty darn awesome. Yeah, they have some on Amazon for like $8. Totally. You can find them anywhere for you don't have to get like. I remember in high school, like my parents weren't loaded, and I remember it was like a big deal. They're like, "Oh, you need a graphing calculator for high school," because the high school teacher said I did. But they're like, "It's a good investment, and you'll use it all throughout college, and you'll need one for college." And it's like, you could have. I got through college using a $10 scientific calculator. So anyways, you don't drop money. Buy an expensive one, use this free software one. Those resources are available. Okay, let's talk about office hours. So I am currently teaching. Oops. I'm teaching a lot of courses this semester. I'm teaching 7 different classes at 3 different colleges. And so I am offering a range. Oh no! Sorry. It might not be too late to return it. That would definitely be worth looking into. So I offer a range of office hours rather than offering like limited one here, limited one there. I'm opening up all of my office hours to all of my classes, and so so you can drop by any of these if you want. And they are Monday, and all of my office hours are here on the YouTube channel. I'm here. I'm chilling. I'm live. Every Monday, I'm live from 1 to 2 p.m. Every Tuesday, I'm here from 8 to 9 a.m. for you early birds. Wednesday, I'm here from 12 to 1 p.m. and Thursday again, 8 to 9 a.m. If you cannot make any of these office hours, you can always email me. You want to do, if you're going to email in a question for office hours, I'll answer it in the video, and I'll timestamp where it is in the description of the video, so you'll be able to find it easily. You want the email subject. Oops. There we go. So if you're emailing in a question for office hours, make sure your email subject is Chem 100 office hours. Because what I do when I'm in office hours is I Google this in all of my inboxes. I get a lot of emails at 3 different places, but I Google the Chem 100 office hours, Chem 400 office hours, Chem 25 office hours in each one. That way I can sift through all the stuff so I don't miss your question. So you can send it in there. And also, if you're emailing in a question for office hours, please attach a picture of the problem that you're working on or that you can't solve. Because it helps me be able to see the context and give an efficient answer. If you are, so one thing you may notice is there's 2 kind of early-ish morning ones, and then the other 2 are in the afternoon. You're like, what about the night owls? Do the night owls get in office hours? Here's the cool thing, and this is not the case for my students at other colleges, but it is the case for you. You guys get lab. So our lab runs from, 6:35 to 9:55 p.m. And during that time, I'm live, I'm online, I'm available for you guys exclusively. So drop by YouTube, give me a shout out. I can totally answer problems. I can answer non-lab problems during our lab period. You can ask me lecture questions and I'll answer them. So one thing you should know is Tuesday is the Chem 60 section lab. Thursday is the Chem 62 section lab. If you're in the other section, you can totally drop by my lab hours to ask me questions. It's like a giant 3-hour office hour for you guys. Do know though, like if you're in Chem 100 section 62 and it's 60's night and you have a question, but Chem section 60 students have questions about the lab, I'm going to prioritize them because that is their night. But I've done these before. 3 hours is a long time. It's not going to be like hopping with questions all the time. So you will be able to get your questions answered. If it's not your lab night, you can still come by. I'm just going to prioritize that section's questions, if that makes sense. Okay. So that is office hours. So there's a bunch of stuff in the syllabus about class behavior. And the thing is, and this is actually something that I've run into, I almost said this semester, but this semester only started. Something I've run into teaching in 2020 that I've never experienced before is people being mean. And here's the thing. We've all experienced this on social media on some level. If not directed at us, we've seen other people doing this. It's way easier to be mean online than it is in person. There's something about, like, if we were all in a classroom, if we were all in a lab, people just, like, in general, when there's face-to-face, people usually aren't dicks to each other. But it's just easier to do online. And so, like, there's a bunch of stuff. And, like, no abusive behavior is going to be tolerated. No, like, defamation. Like, it's just, it's you know, all of that stuff. And you can read it. It's spelled out the action that's going to be taken. But here's what it all boils down to. All of the class behavior stuff, you'll be fine if you just do this one thing. Like, just be kind. It's not complicated. If you're kind to your classmates and you're kind to me, then it's just all going to be good. All right, so that is all. Like, there's all the official stuff. There's all the policies and action will be taken. Blah 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 blah. But if you're just kind, we're going to be good. Okay, that's class behavior. Let's talk about communication because this is important. So if you are trying to get a hold of me, here's the thing you need to know. Email or Canvas, direct message, guarantees. Oops. A response from me. All right. Email or Canvas, direct message, guarantees a response. I will be on Discord. I'll be popping in and out as my schedule allows. Sometimes I will be on Discord, but I'll be actively teaching on a different server. So just because you see me live doesn't necessarily mean that I'm doing stuff in our server. There's multiple classes that I have going on. If I'm live and you at me, I am the potions master on our server. If you do and I see it, I'll respond. But just because you at me, excuse me, just because you at me on Discord or even direct message me on Discord doesn't mean that I'll see it, doesn't mean that you'll get a response. But email and Canvas DM guarantees a response from me. So that's the one thing you got to know. If you need to get in touch with me, you got to hit me up through those channels because I will not miss them and I will get back to you. Something you should know, with that being said, is I will typically get back between 24 and 48 hours. That is my typical response time. Sometimes it'll be faster. Sometimes you're going to be hitting me with a 0 inbox with a quick question, and I'll be there, I'll see it, and I'll be able to shoot it right back. Sometimes it will be longer. It all honestly depends upon when you're happening to email me. Like I said earlier, teaching at 3 different colleges, teaching 7 different classes. And if you're emailing me on a day where everybody's emailing me, it's going to take me a while to move through that queue. Something you should know. I check my email every day, actually multiple times a day. And I have dedicated time to working through sending responses out to everybody. So I'm constantly doing this. But just because I'm constantly doing it doesn't mean that I've made it to your email yet. So anyways, all I ask for is graciousness and patience. You will get a response, but it may not be a fast one. Sometimes it will be. I try to make it as quickly as try to make it as fast as possible. But 24 to 48 hours is a typical response time, depending upon the type of traffic my 3 inboxes are giving me. All right, let's talk about our late policy, my late policy. All right, my late policy is this. An assignment that's late scores 0 points. If an assignment's late, you get a 0. Even if Canvas accepts it and you're like, okay, I submitted it, it's fine. I go back through and I look to see when things are submitted, and if something was submitted late, I delete what your score was and I put in a 0. Now, this is a question that always comes up, so I'm going to pose it to you all right now. What if you lose power or internet connection, and you were in the middle of your upload, and you were trying again, and then when you tried again, it was after the deadline. Here's the deal. If that happens to you, it doesn't matter. If it's late, you will get a 0, and here's the reason why. The reason why you still get a 0 is because it's your fault for waiting to the last minute to submit your assignment, to take your quiz, to upload your file. All right? Here's the mindset that you need to have to be successful in this realm of distance education. Technology makes 0 promises to you to work when you're under the gun. All right? Your only defense against the internet going out, power going out, connection, whatever, is turning in your work early. Do your work early, submit your work early. It is your only defense against that sort of thing. And I'm not talking about like natural disaster type stuff. I had a student, for example, who this past week, there was a quiz due, and there was a storm front coming in, and they reached out to me and said, hey, just to let you know, there's a storm front in my region. I checked the weather. It was correct. It was true. There was. And he said, there's a possibility that we're going to lose power. I might not be in class on Thursday. And if I do, I'll reach out to you. I'll let you know. But it may affect my ability to turn in the quiz. That's something different. Natural disasters are different. But you need to make sure your only defense against technology failing you is not waiting to the last minute to do stuff. If you are, you're risking this happening. So I ask you, please don't risk it. Okay. All right, let's talk about lab for a little bit. So, every lab has 3 parts. There is the pre-lab assignment, the in-lab assignment, and the post-lab. Post-lad. What am I getting all British on us? Pre-lab, in-lab, post-lab. So the pre-lab is due before lab starts. The in-lab assignment is available from the start of your lab period to the end. So from 6:35 to 9:55 p.m. And then the post-lab assignment is due before the start of your next lab period. All right, so if you're in Tuesday's lab, your post-lab will be due on Tuesday before your lab starts. If you're in Thursday's lab, it'll be due on Thursday before your lab starts. These are all weighted evenly, by the way. They're each worth 3 points. So the pre-lab is worth 3 points. The in-lab exercise is worth 3 points. And the post-lab is worth 3 points as well. The specific assignments that you do will vary. The pre-lab is usually a quiz. Sometimes the in-lab is a quiz. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes the post-lab is a quiz. Sometimes it's a worksheet. So it'll change. It'll vary. But it's weighted evenly. So 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. Every lab altogether is worth 9. Now, something that you should be aware of is the pre-lab is in a little bit of a special category. If you miss, or I should say if you miss the pre-lab, then you get a 0 on the entire lab. Then you get a 0 on the whole lab. All right, and the reason for this is, you need to prepare for the lab. You need to roll into our lab period ready, ready to do the experiment, ready to having prepared for it. And the way you do that is by completing the pre-lab. So, okay, I don't know if you guys can hear all that yelling, but my kids all of a sudden came home. Let me just give them a heads up that I'm teaching. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. They have their cousin over. They went to go pick him up with my wife, and so they're having a cousin sleepover. So they're all super stoked for it. Okay, so don't miss the pre-lab. If you miss the pre-lab, you will get 0s on the rest of it. It doesn't matter if you complete it, turn it in. I'll fill in 0s after that. So don't miss that deadline. The rest of the lab hinges on it. Let's see. We're doing okay on time. Let's talk for a minute. Yes, Marcelo, great question. It was originally I moved the dates. The Pre-Req exam is due on the 6th. Yeah, totally. It was originally going to be the 3rd. Then I'm like, I want to give you guys a little room to breathe, so I bumped that due date back. All right, let's talk for a second about oral exams, and I will be posting more information about these when we get closer to them. They'll be held during the lab period. They're going to be one-on-one Zoom with me. And they're not going to be very long. They're probably going to be like 10-15 minutes each, and we'll schedule them so you'll know what slot you have and you'll roll in, and I'll be posting. So the format is I'm going to ask you to solve a problem, and then you get to solve it for me live, and I kind of get to hear you explain things, talk about things, and yes, it sounds terrifying. This is something that other professors at this college do. The full-time faculty are doing it. They're like, I'm new here. They're like, hey, here's the thing we do. Give it a try. And so I'm like, okay, when in Rome, do as the Romans, right? So I'm going to give this a try. I'll be posting problems that are similar to the ones that you'll be facing during this exam. So you'll have something to go off of, something to study for. And the idea of it is for us to connect one-on-one, face-to-face, and for you to be able to like explain things to me and demonstrate your knowledge, what you understand, which again, I know it sounds terrifying. But so here's the other thing. The idea is for it to kind of be like a one-on-one, face-to-face interaction. You're not required to use a webcam during it, so we could have the Zoom meeting. I'll have mine on. You'll see my face. you don't have to turn yours on. That being said, if you do, I'm going to give 10% extra credit if you use a camera, because I think that like personal interaction is that important. So you don't have to. You won't be penalized if you don't, but if you do, I'm willing to give you a 10% boost. And again, I will. I'll post practice problems for these as we get closer to the dates. All right, let's see. Sorry, there's some questions up in the chat. Christian, that's part of the point of doing these oral exams, is because it gives you an opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge. And so it's not going to be like the exam isn't going to be, the correct answer is 7.7606. Did you get that right answer? The exam is going to be evaluating your thought process. You can talk to me. You can tell me like what you understand, maybe what you're unclear on. And so it's not going to be like right or wrong based on the number, because that's what our multiple choice exams are going to be on Canvas, right? Right or wrong based on did you click A, B, or C, or D, or whatever. This is going to be an organic kind of interactive thing. And so the points are not going to be based on right or wrong numbers, but kind of an evaluation of your comprehension of the material. Let's see. You know what, Brianna? That is a great question. Are you going to verbally do it, write stuff down, and give you the answer? I haven't thought through it. There may be some component of like submitting your like the work that you're doing, because you're probably going to need pencil and paper. So submitting that might be part of it. I haven't worked out, because I have never done these before. So I haven't exactly kind of zeroed in on what form they're going to take. And that's another reason why, like, I'm saying, oh, I'll tell you more about this later. Part of it is I'm not 100% sure what these will be. I have a vague idea, but I haven't decided on specifics. So I will be letting you know when I know. All right. Is there a pre-lab assignment? Grace, great question. Is there a pre-lab assignment for our first lab? And the answer is no. Oops, sorry, something hit. There is not a pre-lab assignment for the first lab, so don't worry. There wasn't something you were supposed to do beforehand. Don't stress about that. All right, let's talk about grades as we're getting close to wrapping this thing up here. So let's talk about grades. So lecture, if you look at all of the lecture points, lecture is worth 69.6% of your letter grade. Lab is worth 30.4% of your letter grade. Grace, you're totally welcome. So lecture's definitely weighted heavier than lab. The way the letter grades work out is if you have 59% or less, then your letter grade is an F. If your percentage is 60 to 69, then your letter grade is a D. Whoops. 70 to 79% earns a C. 80 to 89% will earn a B. And 90 to 100% is an A. So it's just a normal straight scale. One thing you should note, this is a department-wide policy, so this is not something that that I invented, but this is something that's true across the chemistry department. So no matter which class you'd be taking, this is the case. If you average less than 60%, in lecture or lab, so just in the lecture assignments or just in the lab assignments, if your isolated average is less than 60%, you automatically pass, or I should say, you do not pass the class. Doesn't matter what your overall average is. You could have a C overall, but if you have a lower than 60% in either lecture or lab, that means that your knowledge of either lecture material or lab material is insufficient, is a failing grade in that portion of the class, and so you'll pass with a D. It doesn't matter what your overall average is. So you have to at least have a 60 in lecture and lab isolated to pass the course. All right. Let's talk for a minute about misconduct, academic misconduct. There's a bunch of stuff in the syllabus. You can all read it, but the one that I want to talk about is plagiarism. All right. What plagiarism is, because I think that is really the critical thing. Plagiarism is presenting another's work as your own. All right. It is presenting another's work as your own. And there is zero tolerance for plagiarism. All right. Now, here's the thing. Collaboration is expected. Collaboration is encouraged. But the work itself must be your own. It's got to be your own stuff. Talk to each other. Figure things out together. Problem solve together. But submit your own work. All right. Now, that being said, I want to say something. So all assignments in this class, I want to talk about them, and including exams. So my number one pet peeve as a student was when a professor would say like, "Oh, here's a take-home exam, but you can't look at the book, don't talk to each other, don't use the internet." I thought it was the biggest load of BS ever that the professor would say that, because, like, from my perspective, I'm like, you're only dicking over the honest students in this class. Because the thing is, like, you know, everybody's going to be doing it except a handful of people who are like, he said no, so I can't. But then they're disadvantaged because everybody else is using the book, using the internet, using each other. And I just don't believe in disadvantaging the honest ones in the class. So all assignments in my class are open book, open note, open internet, open internet, even open other human being. There's zero restrictions on what you're allowed to access during an exam in this class. So you're free to use it all. Totally use it all. The thing I want to say though is because my exams are open everything, they tend to be hard. They're not, these problems aren't Googleable. I write them all. I write them all custom, and the other thing is my exams tend to be very, very, very short on time. So time is a major factor, a major pressure factor, and they're gonna go by fast. So if you are in the exam and you're having to take the time to flip through a textbook to try to find that thing, you're wasting time. So you want to roll into the exam ready to solve the problems, knowing how to solve the problems, because if you're having to look them up, you're not going to be able to finish the test. So anyways, that's just a little bit about kind of the way I structure things during the test. There's two last things I want to say, and then we'll break for a little bit and pop back over for lab. Lab's going to be pretty chill today. But I want to talk about two more things in our introductory lecture. The first is, what are my opinions on, Brianna, what are my opinions on DSS and students with accommodations? Brianna, great question. Oh, let me talk about DSS for a second. Oops, not DDS. That's a dentist. And for the record, Brianna, I actually think that there's only one correct opinion about DSS, and that is students who need accommodations should get their accommodations. So that is, if you have an accommodation or if you need an accommodation, that accommodation should be met, including time. If you have a time thing through DSS, you will have that incorporated into your testing experience in this class. Something you should know, if you have, or I should say, if you need an accommodation, send me your, and some of you have already done this, not DDS, holy moly. DSS. Send me your DSS letter ASAP. Some of you already have, and I so appreciate that. I will program that accommodation in to every timed assignment that you face in this class. So that'll be taken care of. But the thing is, I need your official accommodation letter from DSS. If you can get that to me, and again, some of you already have. If you can get it to me before the pre-req exam closes, I can include that in the pre-req exam as well, and then every exam moving forward. So if you have an accommodation, if you need an accommodation, I can meet that time accommodation for you, because that is your right and you should have it. So, I want to say that's my opinion. No, but I think that's the only correct opinion on DSS services. Okay. Okay. Two things left. The first is so on Canvas right now, there's a thing that you can take. There's no closing date for this, but if you could all do it as soon as possible, I'd appreciate it. There is a Discord poll. This is there to help me. So there's an invite link to our Discord server. Many of you have joined already. This Discord poll will help me because not everybody's like screen name handle is your actual names. So for example, mine on there is Crows Are Black, but within our server, I think I'm just Crows Are Black. That's my Discord handle, so you wouldn't know that Crows Are Black is Joshua Tolopilo unless someone told you. And so that's part of this Discord poll is so that I can add your Discord handles to my roster so I know who I'm talking to because I need help because there's a lot more of you than there are of me. The other thing there is it's going to help me get everyone sorted out on Discord. I'm going to be assigning roles to make it more interesting and fun, and the results of the Discord poll will help me do that. Now, that being said, so the Discord poll is officially 0 points. So if you don't do it, you're not going to get penalized. But if you complete it, so if you complete this poll, I don't often offer extra credit in this class, but if you do complete it, I will upgrade your syllabus quiz score from a 10 out of 10 to a 12 out of 10. So it's a nice way to start with higher than an A. Fill out this Discord poll and get your syllabus quiz score upgraded. All right. The last thing that I want to say, and this will close out our lecture, is this is something that feedback that I've gotten from former students. I remember this one in particular student came up to me. I bumped into him on campus next semester, and he said that it was actually for, funny thing is, it was actually for a Chem 100 class that I taught at Maricosta College. And he was a really good student, he did well in the class. Bumped into him on campus, and he was like, we were chit-chatting, and he said, dude, you totally did like a bait and switch last semester. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you go through your syllabus, first day of class, you're talking to us all. And I was like, dude, this professor, I'm taking a chemistry class from the turtle from Finding Nemo, because I give off those like vibes. He was like, this is going to be a chill semester. And he said, then your first exam felt like a sucker punch to the gut. I thought it was going to be chill, and it was intense. And so anyways, I just wanted to pass on that information to you. Like, I am a chill dude. I do kind of give off like low-key vibes, but my exams tend to be rather strenuous. So don't let my chill demeanor lull you into a sense of complacency. You definitely want to be on top of things. You want to be proactive. You want to be starting things early. Because my exams are on the harder side. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to give you that warning. ahead of time. It's going to be a good semester. I want you all to succeed. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. And that is about all that I have at the moment. Caleb, great question. All right, let's see. Yes. Okay, so Grace, a couple questions. Should we get... So Grace was asking, should we get started on reading chapters 1 and 2 for this week? Also, for the homework that I assigned, she wants to be sure that it's the problems at the end of the chapter. Yes, the homework that I assigned are the problems from the textbook. Some of them are within the text, so they're not all at the end, but you'll be able to tell that by the numbers. On today's Tuesday. On Thursday, we'll start in actual properly lecturing in chapter 1, possibly moving to chapter 2. We'll see how deep we get. It may just be chapter 1. You can follow, Grace, kind of the syllabus. There's a tentative lecture schedule, and so that will kind of tell you what my planned pace is. We may have to adjust depending upon how things actually go. But I would look to the syllabus if you're looking to read ahead and want to know how far. The syllabus will let you know. Okay, Caleb, does it matter what lab we attend? Yes and no. The lab that you're enrolled in will determine the due date. So remember, every lab exercise has 3 parts. There's the pre-lab, which is due before your lab's period starts. There's the in-lab, which is only available during your lab period. And then the post-lab is due before your next experiment starts. With that being said, if you're in Thursday's lab, I don't mind if you drop into Tuesdays, but your assignment won't be available till Thursday when your lab period meets. If you're in Tuesdays, I don't mind if you drop into Thursdays, but your lab assignment will have already expired. It will have already been due on Tuesday, so that's something you should be aware of. Vanessa, great question. I believe it is... I believe I posted it in an announcement on Canvas. So I think that's where it is. Double check that. I'll double check that and let you know. Alrighty, okay, so that's it for us. Thank you everybody for coming out. This was an awesome stream. We had a lively chat going on. I will be back in about 10 minutes. I have enough time to quickly shove some food in my face because I think it's grotesque to eat in front of a webcam. We'll be back in lab. Just so you know, so there is, as everybody in here, this is lecture, so this is Tuesday and Thursday, people all jumbled together. Oh, Marcella, thank you. Yes, I did post about it with an announcement titled Hello and Hello. Today's lab is really chill. So there's actually no official lab assignment. I'll be available to answer questions, to chit chat with you all. There are some lab safety quizzes that are due a little bit later this month. I suggest that you work on them during this lab period. You totally don't have to. You could do it at another time. So this is one lab where there is no assignment due by the end of it. So you don't have to show up if you don't want to, if you'd rather work on it at a later time. But I will be available if you do want to work on it and ask me questions as you move through it. All right. Okay. So this concludes this lecture's stream. I'll catch